Yo guys, how are we? Today we are in for making of episode 2 and we are going to be breaking down my new track Days Before the Flood, which is out now. If you haven't checked it out already, just head into the description. There'll be a little link there. You can listen. You also don't have to. I won't know. I recorded this video like a month ago. We also shot a really cool music video type thing for it with my friend Callum. I'll put a little clip of it in this vicinity. Check it out, it's really dope. And check out my guy Callum, he's incredibly talented. He does most of my visuals. And yeah. So if we dive into this project, it's not really the most technically produced track. It's quite stripped back, quite simple. Definitely comes more so from a songwriting perspective. For me, I'm not naturally a songwriter. I've always been, good with words, but I've never really been able to put them down to paper in a song form. And I was on the plane back from a gig. My phone was dead. My laptop was in the overhead thing and I was in a window seat, and I'm way too socially awkward to ask people to move so I can get out. So I was in a dilemma. Simply put, I grabbed one of those vomit bags that was in-flight, puke bags, and just scribbled all the lyrics down on it real quickly so I wouldn't forget. I have it, it's not it, but that's a $2 voucher for my local garden shop. So that's saving that. I don't know if you can read that at all, but we've got all the lyrics there. And I think for the most part, they stayed very similar to how they were here. I even wrote huge toms. Because I got those big, 80s vibe Phil Collins albums in the second half. So anyway, so if we dive into the project now, we can look at the vocals. And I recorded this originally, which is that falsettoed sound. I don't have a whole lot of processing going on. I have Melda Audio's auto pitch going on, which is the only auto tune I use. I kind of just used it early on and never kind of used anything else, but it does the job and it does it well. I've got this just simple gate working as well, just to cut out a little bit of the background noise. Little Altar Boy, which I use on a lot of things to give a lot of that a lot of those lower harmonic stuff. So I've got the pitch down, formats down to 5. The distortion in this plugin is crazy. I love it. I use it on everything. I don't even use any other distortion plugins, just this one. For me, I was singing in a falsetto, and it's kind of naturally where this song sits in terms of pitch and range and stuff, but it sounds like a falsetto. It sounds really breathy and it's really high, and I wanted to add a little bit more of a contrast to it at least. So I chucked this on here, which is one of my favorite racks. It's a really thick bassy rack. Just got pretty much everything on it. It does kind of blow out a lot of the audio a lot, but it still sounds kind of dope. And officially here, I've got this on, -20, nearly -21. So it's not allowed, it's not loud in the mix at all, but it just adds that nice low texture, and by itself sounds kind of shitty, but it just adds a nice I don't know, grunty distortion to the track. The next thing I recorded was in the instrument section. So I recorded this. Very simple chord progression. Just kind of got the sort of mood going there. And then I took it into this plugin called Pole Stretch, which unfortunately, when I updated my laptop, it like broke. I don't know how to fix it. I'll put like an image of it here. If you can get it, it's really dope. It does this really cool thing where you can stretch any sound into like this real pretty pad. So for this one, what I did was I took the guitar, I stretched it like 4 times. So it was 4 times as long. I made it like super smooth throughout it, and it's like this real pretty pad. And then what I did was I shrunk that down so it was the same length as the original chord progression. So it sounds like this, which I think the real cool thing about it is that you can tell that it's still a guitar, you know, and it still sounds very like guitar-like, but it doesn't sound like a guitar. I don't know. So after that sort of section, what I did was I took that guitar pad and did this technique that I do a lot. I spoke about it in my last video. But what I'll do is I'll take an audio file and I'll send it to MIDI. So what I did was I sent it over to this, and it came up with like a lot of notes, and like some of them you see here that like I turned off because they sounded like shit. And some of them are actually even out of key. So I had this on it just to force it into key, and it just sounded wrong. So I left like a few notes in there that are off. But we've got the main synth here, which is actually the same patch as this one, just down like a few octaves and without like all the reverb and stuff on it. So I use this one a lot. It's actually the same patch as this one here too, which is literally just a 5 unison. Just a 5 unison saw, a little bit of detuning. The blend's pretty much equal. In terms of effects, it's real simple. It's just essentially like a loud, distorted saw. But this one in here, I don't have anything on, but on this one here, so the street sweeper is just gonna. What I also have running through the drop section is I have this here, which is literally just white noise. I didn't really do anything else to it. It's just there. Again, it's just part of that, like filling that space, making it sound really big. You can do this and it runs the risk of sounding muddy, and it runs the risk of sounding like really shit, but I did it and it worked, so here I am. And yeah, that's pretty much the track. And like I said, it's not the most like technically challenging track or, you know, very detailed or elaborate, but I guess I'm not claiming that it is. I think it's just a cool way to show you a little behind the scenes on how I wrote this and kind of give you a few tips along the way. But if there's anything else in the song that I haven't covered that you really want to know, or anything else just in general, leave a comment and I'll get back to you. And